Okay, so making good progress on the B17, as you can see. It's coming on nicely now. All the riveting is done, the fuselage is all cleaned up, and I've just done a little bit of riveting on the airframe, and I don't know whether you'll be able to see that or not. It's really hard to see, but it'll come out on the finish, so that should be a good opportunity to perhaps show you that a little bit more. So it's just a little bit there. It's not complete by any stretch of imagination in terms of riveting and all that business, but hey-ho, it's all about just trying to create a little bit more interest and a bit of an effect. The main thing I think we need to deal with now the wings have dried, I've left them for a good day and a bit, is to fill this seam. There's quite a big join here on the port wing route. The starboard wing route is much better, not much there at all that needs messing about with, and indeed underneath it's pretty good as well. But I find the best way to get rid of these sorts of joins that are just a little bit too big to use PVA glue for, which is brilliant. You just run a bit of PVA glue into these small hairline joins, and usually that's fine. You spray over the top of it and it's all done, and you don't notice it. But these are a little bit big, and certainly this one on the port wing route definitely is. So what we're going to do for that is, and you may have again seen this in the techniques bank, I'm not sure, but is we just get a bit of good old business card, always comes in handy at times like this. Just get a bit of cyano, squeeze that out onto the card. Get that out of the way there. And then what we're going to do is just mix in a little bit of talcum powder. A little bit of baby talcum powder there, good old Johnson's baby powder. Brings back a few memories when you get that smell, but hey ho, that's another story for another day, I am sure. So let's just move the model out of the way so you can see what's going on here. So all I'm doing, I'll just pick this up, it's probably easiest, is just mixing in the talcum powder with the cyano. So why am I doing this? Well, the bottom line is that cyano dries pretty hard. It's yeah, that's the problem really. It dries very hard, and it dries harder than the surrounding plastic. And what I found by adding powder, talcum powder, to the glue is that it turns this filler into a slightly softer material at the end of the day, or alloy, whatever you want to call it, and mix, and it just sands more easily than if you don't mix it with the talcum powder. So I find that it sands pretty much like the plastic itself, so I think that's always a good sort of situation to get to, really. So what we'll do is just using a cocktail stick, take some of this stuff and just apply it down the join. Just try and bring that in so you can see roughly what's going on. Don't particularly want to get it kind of like everywhere. It's never particularly brilliant, but no, that's fine. Just trying to get the angle really right and work on it and not get in the way of the camera. What's interesting when you're doing these things. But we just run that down into that join there. I think as well, because it slightly thickens the cyano by adding the talcum powder, it tends not to just flow deep inside that join, and then you probably notice this yourself, it doesn't invariably, so there's a bit of sinkage when it dries and you've got to add some more, whereas there's a good chance that we'll get this on the first application, we won't need any more. So we just, as I said, run that down there. I think that's pretty much it for that join. Hopefully you can just see that. So what I'll do is just run around the other joins, and we'll leave that to dry. It also dries quicker, interesting enough. Personally, I think it's better to leave it and not apply the accelerator, the kicker, to the glue. You could, but it's not necessary really. It dries quicker. You apply the talcum powder anyway, and also you get less shrinkage. And sometimes when you apply the kicker, the accelerator to set the super glue straight away, you find that it all crinkles up and you end up having to apply some more anyway, because it kind of messes with the finish. So that should dry really nice and smoothly, so we'll come back to that later. So I'll turn the camera off and go and fill the other joints, and then you can see how we end up once that's all sanded and then polished back.